Okay, we're back at it. Remember that lower pelum that was right there that was dead? It's already been dug up. And from that local nursery that I showed you, we bought boxwoods. I'm hoping that these boxwoods work. We are helping this soil out because it is a sand. And it is sandy around here, but I can't know if this is from the builder grading the yard, the previous landscaper using play sand, or just the dirt that's out here, because this is a very sandy area. We are near the coast. In fact, our guy that put in our well was digging and he came across many seashells. So we can't be sure that this wasn't once part of the ocean or wetland, but this sand, I think, is what did my lauropelum in. So we're gonna plant these boxwoods and see how it goes. So what Mert has here is some topsoil, some cow manure. We're about to put some biotone in there, some starter biotone, and see if that helps this boxwood get off to a good start. We can only stay hopeful, but they are so healthy, so pretty and green. And that is a 1 gallon or 3? 3 gallon boxwood. So we'll see how this goes. Get a second glove. I'll mix that in. I need to get a second glove. Okay, this is the process. Some of the holes did not have to be dug. Some do. Because something was planted right there. I can't remember. But it died. So we backfilled it with our dirt that we had brought in. So now Mert is taking some of the dirt out so that we can plant a boxwood right there. Now, is that going to be random? Absolutely, because I don't know why I would plant a boxwood right there. But it fills in around the tree with green. And so you come in at an angle on both sides of where you're planting. And then the rule of thumb is you're supposed to have the plant mixed with the original dirt from the ground, the plant soil that's with the plant, and then plant it at least 2 inches above the ground. Has that worked for us? I'm not sure. Have we followed that on a few of the plants? We have, but I'm not sure if it works. But we're doing it again. We're filling the bottom with our soil mixture, and then we're filling around the boxwood with the soil mixture. And then we're gonna water it all in. But right now, let's just get some of the original dirt out of the hole. And let me come in closer for you to see. See around the edges how it looks like it's sand? That's what I'm worried about. So that's why we're filling around the plant with the soil mixture, so it gives the roots a chance to feel something that's likely more familiar than sand and give it a chance to survive. And because we have a watering system, we will water it like it says 3 or 4 times a week, Mert, to let the boxwood roots catch.
Yes,
at first. And then once we can tell that it's thriving and it's doing well,
it actually said
then we'll
every day.
every day.
If it's above 85.
Okay, so that would be true for us. If it's late spring and summer, it will be above 85. Right now, it's early spring, and so it may not need it as much, but we'll just try to see. I don't know how you can determine if it's dying, if it's getting too much water, not enough water. I don't know how to determine that, but we're just gonna watch it and see. But we can't give it too much water because it's right here by my roses, and my roses do not These two, they do not like wet feet. And there's a sprinkler head that's over there that you can't see. So we're going to do our best to water it, but not drown everything else that's around it.
I think the timing of the water and that, I think you should water it
A minute?
this zone.
Because our zone is set for 3, right? 5, maybe the grass. Because
Yeah,
even
the grass is okay, but this here,
even these probably got too much water, and I think that's why they're evergreen, and that's why they look kind of sickly. But I cleaned around the bottom of them and put some fertilizer down, so hopefully that helps them revive themselves.
soil.
There's a plane over here. Where's my leaf here? Okay, I'll be back on camera in a second. Let me grab it. Mert has good knees. Not really. But he can handle that more than I can. Place what we got these, they did a good job with watering them. As you can tell, they just not stuck inside. There's the root ball, nice and loose to go in. Don't have to disturb it too much. And then we have to push the dirt down around the front.
Make that dirt fall in there. So don't move it. Just push it straight.
And I do like that the roots are kind of coming out like that they're not so tough, because I think that helps establish.
I know. So the plants around this dirt.
It's a little mulchy. As I said, it's cow manure, topsoil, peat moss. Fertilize over the top of this in 2 weeks. So that's why I didn't really want to put the pine bark around it yet. This is come back. That's actually the dirt that we had brought in here. Because you feel that good with whatever diet I was using. Okay, so there we are. And then we'll go in with a little bit of black mulch around this area. A little bit over there. because you can see, let me show you, where we have cardboard because we sheet mulched this area when we first planted over here. So hopefully that boxwood does great. All of them. We're staying hopeful. Thanks for watching. Okay, here comes the pavers from my Lowe's order. And the guy's gonna drop it off right where we want it, right here, because it's going around the trim. And so we don't want to put it too far and make us have to do a lot of walking and lifting. So he's just gonna sit it down right here for us. Convenient. And it just so happened to be the day we're out planting up all of the new shrubs and stuff. So we're excited that it came on this day so we can almost be done. Now all we have to do, we fertilized today. We need to put down a little mulch just to fill in the gaps because we don't want it nice and dark. We just want this mulch to go away and then we're done. Okay, we got a gap right here and we got a hammer to knock away some of the concrete so that the pavers are flat. And some of them still aren't completely flat, so we've got to take away that concrete, and that's what Mert's doing right there to kind of break it up so that the paver can go flat. We have no intentions on sealing them. And at some point, I may have a professional just come and lay it properly, but for right now, just so that the grass doesn't grow over into the flower bed, I'm okay with the way we're doing it. And would a professional do much better? I can't be certain because we are professional looking. Professional looking. We are professionals, but we're not professional landscapers or hardscapers. Okay, let me look helpful.
I think it's the V. If we could find, if we could cut it into the V, it's the no V's and one curve it is. But we don't have nothing to cut that.
You cut it and it's not crumbling. These feel like they are concrete molded. Like that. Like they molded concrete. Like it's molded concrete. So I think if we try to cut it, probably is going to break it completely up. And as he's breaking those up and chopping those up, we're recycling it, putting it where we have the river rock. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, let me know what you think. We didn't use any mortar to hold them together because there are several that need adjusting. As you can see, we have, just gaps right there. I told Mert what I would do is I'll go and get some decorative stuff to kind of fill in where our sprinkler heads are. But we got to try to figure out how we're going to take care of gaps and things like that. Mert's wetting it. I don't know why, but he is. But I think it looks pretty good. The main idea of this was to keep my grass from growing up into the flower beds. Even though we had the rubber trim around it, it still would just go under or go across. So what we did was cement it on the inside, created a cement border, and then we added these pavers on top. So I think it makes the landscape look really, really good. Okay, happy with it.